The galaxy was quiet. Stars shone like diamonds in the endless black. Planets spun in silence, and alien empires stretched across hundreds of systems. One such empire, the Krillari Dominion, ruled with iron logic and deadly technology. Their fleets moved like shadows. Their minds were sharp, cold, and unfeeling. They had conquered worlds, crushed civilizations, and broken every resistance that rose before them. On a distant, storm-racked planet, the Krillari watched their world crumble. Their capital city, the jewel of their civilization, burned in silence. Firestorms tore through the skies. Cities collapsed. Machines that had ruled the planet for centuries fell silent. Smoke choked the air. The Krillari leaders had never expected betrayal from within. But betrayal had come. Their allies had turned, selling secrets to an unknown enemy. The Krillari had underestimated their own weakness. The Krillari people stared at the destruction in disbelief. Fear gripped them. Their weapons were useless. Their shields failed. Panic spread like wildfire. One by one, the great towers fell. Their mighty fleets were trapped in orbit, unable to intervene. The invaders had used the planet's storms and chaos against them, striking where they were weakest. Among the wreckage, survivors ran through streets still burning. Families were gone. Cities were gone. A generation of the Krillari elite was erased. The sky was filled with strange ships, ships that moved with purpose, yet seemed fragile and slow. The invaders had come silently, without warning, and now the world was lost. In the middle of the chaos, a single Krillari officer watched as the invaders disappeared into the sky after leaving ruin. They did not even stay. They did not celebrate. The officer felt fear deep in their core. Who were they? Where had they come from? What strange power allowed them to destroy so much without heavy fleets or massive weapons? Rumors spread across the Dominion. These invaders were strange, unknown. Reports described creatures that looked weak. Simple, small, fragile. No one in the Dominion thought they could pose a real threat. Humans, one message said, the name barely remembered. The word held no weight yet. Only curiosity, only unease. Even as the Krillari mourned, there was a whisper in their minds. Something they could not explain. These humans were not like other species they had destroyed. They did not seem afraid. They did not scream. Even in the face of overwhelming danger, survivors had acted with calm determination. A few small ships had left the ruined planet under conditions that should have destroyed them. Somehow, they had survived. Somehow, they had escaped. The Krillari could not understand. How could such weak creatures survive a war they could not hope to win? Their curiosity mixed with dread. There was pain here. Yes, deep and sharp. Loss had cut through their pride like fire. The officers' own hands shook as they stared at the last burning tower. The Dominion had fallen on this world. The invaders had vanished. And yet, the officer could not shake the thought that something larger was coming, something they had not seen before. As night fell, the planet was silent again. Smoke drifted across the surface. Fires glowed faintly against the dark. And in the distance, tiny lights flickered across the stars. Small ships, moving carefully, deliberately, leaving the ruined planet behind. The Krillari could not know it, but these were humans. Weak, unarmed, unprepared, insignificant in every way the Dominion understood. And yet, somehow, they had survived. The officer looked to the stars. A cold wind carried ash across the broken cities. Somewhere, deep in the galaxy, the humans moved. The Krillari had thought this species unimportant. They had thought them weak. And that thought was about to become the Dominion's first great mistake. Because in the darkness of the ruined world, no one could see the truth yet. The humans were only beginning. And what they would become, no one could imagine. The stars were watching. The universe was about to learn a dangerous lesson. The humans had no name in the galaxy yet. To the alien empires, they were weak, insignificant, almost invisible. Their ships were small, slow, and outdated. Their weapons were primitive compared to the fleets that ruled the stars. But humans had one thing no alien could measure: stubbornness. A small human convoy drifted through the void near the destroyed Krillari world. The ships were battered. Supplies were low. Many were injured. Yet they moved steadily forward, scanning the blackness, searching for survivors, searching for hope. Every human aboard felt the weight of the unknown pressing in. The universe was full of dangers they could not yet name. A sudden storm of debris struck their lead ship. The hull groaned, sparks flew, and alarms blared. Systems flickered and died. The humans braced themselves. They had no shields strong enough to stop the debris. Some froze. Others acted. Engineers scrambled to patch the hull with tools they had barely imagined could work. Crews lifted heavy beams, sealed broken panels, and rerouted power through damaged circuits. No one panicked. Not fully. Fear was there, sharp and real. But humans acted. They adapted. They survived. Slowly, methodically, they made the ship whole again. Sparks still flew, alarms still screamed, but the ship moved. Forward. Always forward. Another threat emerged. Alien drones, scouts from the remnants of the Krillari fleet, appeared from the dark. They were fast, armed, and relentless. The humans were too few, too slow, too small. The aliens moved in tight formation, confident they would crush this weak convoy. The humans had no chance. Every calculation said so. Every instinct told them to flee. But humans do not flee. Not completely. They fight. They endure. They push through pain and fear. Using what little technology they had, the humans twisted their damaged ships into defensive formations. They used debris fields as cover. They used timing, patience, and instinct. One by one, the drones collided with the fields, damaged themselves, and fell away. The humans survived. Not easily. Not without loss. But they survived. The human captain looked at the fleet. Exhausted. Injured. Shaken. Yet alive. She knew they were nothing yet to the galaxy. Nothing at all. But in that moment, she understood something vital. Humans could endure what no one else could. The aliens had underestimated them. The universe had overlooked them. And for the first time, the humans realized their stubbornness was their power. In the distance, a larger shadow appeared. Another alien fleet, larger than the first. Faster. More advanced. Entirely focused on annihilating the humans before they could escape. Fear rose like a tide across the human ships. They had seen what loss felt like. They had felt despair. And now it returned, heavier than ever. Still, humans did not surrender. Systems repaired, crews regrouped, and even the damaged ships moved forward with careful precision. Humans knew the odds were impossible. They knew they could die. They did not care. Survival was not just a choice. It was a stubborn act of will. The alien fleet drew closer. Their weapons glowed with deadly light. The humans had nothing to match them. Nothing, except their own resolve. The captain gave silent orders. Every human crew member understood what must be done. They would fight. They would adapt. They would survive. And then, through the darkness of space, the humans saw something strange. A pattern. A weakness in the alien formation. It was subtle, almost invisible, but it was there. And in that moment, the humans had a choice. Freeze in fear, or act with the stubbornness that defined them. The humans acted. The aliens thought it was insignificant. They thought these fragile creatures could do nothing. But the humans moved in ways the aliens could not predict. Small, weak, and seemingly fragile, the humans survived. The fleet pushed forward, hurt but not broken. And as they approached the first line of enemy fire, the shadow of a greater danger loomed beyond. Something the humans had never seen before. Something massive. Something alive. The humans could not run. They could not hide. They had no chance. And yet, somehow, they had survived this far. The universe had not seen the last of them. The unknown alien fleet hung in the void like a shadow, larger and more dangerous than anything the humans had faced. Its ships glimmered with deadly light. Every weapon was aimed at them. Every movement calculated to destroy. The humans knew this was no simple attack. They were facing an armada designed to erase every trace of life. The human fleet was small. Many ships were damaged. Supplies were low. The wounded filled the medical bays. Engines screamed as crews pushed them beyond their limits. Fear was thick, gnawing at every mind. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and facing almost certain death. The first salvo hit. One of the human vessels exploded in a flash of fire, throwing debris across space. The fleet shuddered. Panic threatened to take hold. Another ship followed. Systems failed. Alarms rang endlessly. Crews gritted their teeth and kept moving. They had no other choice. Stopping meant death. Humans began to fall. Ships crumpled under laser fire. The cries of machines and men echoed through the hulls. Every loss cut deep. Every explosion reminded them of the price of survival. Some whispered that they should surrender. But surrender was not a human option. They could feel it in their bones. Survival was stubbornness. Survival was defiance. Amid the chaos, the captain scanned the fleet. She saw broken ships, battered crews, and yet no one gave up. Engineers patched engines in real time. Pilots maneuvered damaged vessels with impossible skill. Soldiers ran to the weapon stations they had never trained for. Fear was everywhere, but so was determination. A massive alien dreadnought approached, glowing like a dying star. Its weapons could obliterate a human ship in seconds. The captain made a desperate choice. She led a small squad of damaged vessels straight into the enemy formation. Every calculation said it would fail. Every instinct screamed danger. And yet, the humans moved forward. They suffered. Every step forward brought pain. Fire ripped through corridors. Crews were injured. Ships listed and groaned under pressure. The fleet staggered like wounded animals. And still, they did not stop. Humans never gave up. They adapted to each hit, patched the damage, and kept moving forward. The aliens watched with disbelief. They expected humans to break under pressure. They expected fear to destroy them. And yet, the humans endured. Each loss seemed only to strengthen them. Each explosion only to sharpen their resolve. Pain did not destroy humans, it made them stronger. But the shadow of the dreadnought loomed larger. A sudden salvo tore through the lead human ship. Sparks flew. Hull breaches opened. Lives were lost. The fleet was scattered. It seemed impossible that anyone would survive the next strike. The humans were cornered, trapped, facing annihilation. Yet, in the heart of the chaos, the humans moved with instinct. Crews used debris, the environment, and every trick they could muster. Small, unarmed ships slipped through gaps in the enemy formation. Damaged engines roared. Weapons fired with desperate precision. Every act was risky, nearly suicidal. But humans did what no alien machine could predict. The dreadnought turned, its sensors focused on the humans. The aliens thought the humans were finished. They thought they were weak. They laughed at the idea that such fragile creatures could survive. And in that moment, the humans made a shocking discovery. The alien formation was not perfect. There was a flaw, a tiny gap in the defenses. It was almost invisible. But humans saw it. They moved toward it. Slowly, carefully, defiantly. The aliens had no idea that the first seeds of human dominance were forming. The human fleet had suffered. They were broken. They were afraid. They had lost much. But somehow, through pain, fear, and stubbornness, they had survived. The universe had not yet witnessed the true strength of humanity. And the dreadnought, the largest and most terrifying of all alien ships, was about to make a critical mistake. The humans were broken, but not defeated. Smoke still curled from their damaged ships. Hulls were scarred. Engines groaned under stress. Supplies were nearly gone. Every human aboard had faced death and seen comrades fall. Yet they moved forward. Not out of hope, not out of certainty, but because humans do not surrender. The alien dreadnought had closed in, its weapons charged, ready to obliterate the remaining human fleet. The alien commanders watched confidently, convinced these fragile creatures were finished. The humans were slow, weak, and insignificant. They had no reason to fear the aliens' superior technology. Their arrogance was complete. But humans did not act like other species. They did not panic. Fear did not freeze them. They suffered, yes, deeply, but suffering did not destroy them. It sharpened their minds. Engineers worked furiously, rerouting power to weapons that should not have fired. Pilots twisted damaged ships through impossible angles. Crews scavenged tools and materials, turning scraps into shields, broken guns into traps. The humans had no big weapons. They had no fleets to match the dreadnought. But they had unpredictability, instinct, stubbornness, and most importantly, they had one another. They coordinated silently, without protocol, without rules, reacting as a single organism, moving with purpose and determination no alien machine could calculate. The first trap was set. Small human ships maneuvered into the tiny flaw in the alien formation that no one had noticed before. One ship, battered and nearly broken, drew the dreadnought's attention. The massive weapon systems focused on it, ignoring the smaller ships circling behind. The humans had no right to survive this encounter. And yet, they did. The lead ship dodged, weaved, and used the alien focus against them, creating confusion in the enemy ranks. The aliens paused. Confusion was alien to them. Their systems were precise, their calculations flawless. And yet, the humans had found a gap, a way to survive, a way to fight back. Small vessels moved with impossible speed, exploiting weaknesses, striking where no one expected. Each attack was minor, but cumulative. The aliens were shocked. For the first time, fear crept into the minds of the invaders. They had laughed at these humans. They had expected surrender. And now they saw that these fragile creatures could adapt, could endure, could use their suffering and fear as weapons. The humans suffered further. Another wave of fire struck the fleet, destroying 2 more ships. Losses mounted. Pain cut deep. Yet every human who remained fought harder. Every failure taught them something new. Every loss was a lesson. Humans do not give up. Humans do not quit. They endure, and from endurance comes power. The fleet began to turn the tide, slowly, subtly. Small victories accumulated. Drones disabled. Weapons misfired. Alien ships collided with debris and with one another. Humans moved through the chaos like shadows, exploiting gaps, using instinct and courage in ways no alien could anticipate. And then, from the wreckage of a destroyed human ship, a strange light appeared. It was not a weapon, not a shield. Something new. Something the aliens could not understand. Humans had created a device, cobbled from scraps, designed to confuse and misdirect. It flickered and pulsed in the void. And the aliens noticed it. They did not know what it was. They did not understand it. But they sensed danger. The humans were no longer just surviving. They were learning, adapting, fighting back. And the aliens, for the first time, realized their mistake. But the fleet was still heavily damaged. Supplies were low. Every human was on the edge of exhaustion. And beyond the stars, a much larger threat moved, watching the battle with quiet patience. Something even more terrifying than the dreadnought waited. The humans did not know it yet, but their journey had only just begun. The universe had seen the first sparks of human defiance, and it would not forget them. The human fleet was battered. Broken ships drifted like ghosts in the void. Smoke trailed from damaged engines, and alarms screamed in every hull. Crews were exhausted. Many were injured. Supplies were nearly gone. Every calculation said the humans had no chance. Every instinct screamed death. Yet they moved forward. Humans never surrendered. The alien dreadnought loomed ahead, massive, unstoppable, its weapons glowing with deadly energy. Behind it, the rest of the alien fleet waited, confident in victory. They had crushed civilizations before. They had destroyed species stronger and faster than humans. This fragile, small fleet should have been nothing. But humans did what no one expected. They used pain as power. Every loss, every broken system, every near-death experience had taught them something. They had learned to adapt, to improvise, to survive. And now, they would fight back. The captain surveyed the fleet. Every human ship moved like a single organism. Engineers patched weapons in mid-fire, pilots maneuvered through impossible gaps, and soldiers prepared to act with courage no algorithm could predict. They had nothing that should have mattered to the aliens. No massive firepower, no shield strong enough to stop a dreadnought. But they had something greater: instinct, stubbornness, and a refusal to die. The first strike was small, subtle. A damaged human vessel darted through the alien formation, firing makeshift weapons and using debris as cover. The dreadnought's massive guns followed it, leaving a gap behind. Another human ship followed. Then another. One by one, the humans slipped through the cracks in the alien formation. Confusion spread like wildfire. The aliens had expected obedience, weakness, and surrender. Instead, they saw the humans survive impossible attacks. They saw their formations fail, their weapons misfire, and their fleet falter. Every minor victory by the humans seemed insignificant, but together, they were unstoppable. The humans fought with their greatest weapon: unpredictability. Ships moved where aliens could not anticipate. They improvised traps, used the environment, and struck at weak points no sensor could detect. Small, damaged vessels became deadly. What was fragile became lethal. Pain had forged them into something the universe had not seen before. The dreadnought fired a massive beam, intending to annihilate the lead human ships. Humans dodged, weaving through debris, using the battlefield itself as a weapon. They fired their small weapons at the dreadnought's weak points, coordinated by instinct and courage. Sparks flew. Hulls shuddered. And then, the beam struck nothing but empty space. The aliens realized too late that humans had predicted their attack. Every move had been countered. Every weapon turned against them. Their fleets faltered. Ships collided. Systems failed. Panic rippled through ranks that had never known fear. Humans surged forward. They were broken, wounded, and exhausted, but they were alive. Every ship, every crew member, every human heart pushed forward with relentless stubbornness. The dreadnought, the terror of the galaxy, faltered. It had never faced creatures that refused to die, that refused to surrender, that turned pain into strength and fear into courage. And then the humans struck the final blow. Not with massive weapons or technology superior to the aliens, but with courage, strategy, and instinct. The dreadnought collapsed in a storm of fire. The remaining alien ships retreated, terrified and confused. They had underestimated humanity. For the first time, humans were not just surviving. They were winning. The galaxy, which had ignored them, laughed at them, and dismissed them as weak, now had to take notice. Something had changed. Something had begun. But the humans knew this victory was only the beginning. Beyond the stars, greater threats waited. Challenges that would test every ounce of courage and ingenuity they had. And yet, humans had survived the impossible. They had adapted. They had triumphed. And the universe would never forget it. The stars were quiet again, but now the galaxy had learned a dangerous truth. Humans were not weak. Humans never surrendered. And the universe would soon see the cost of underestimating them. The battle was over. The human fleet, battered and broken, drifted in the silent void. Fires still glowed along scarred hulls. Smoke trailed from engines that would never run again. Crews tended the wounded, counted the losses, and breathed in the quiet. For the first time in days, they could feel the universe around them, silent, watchful, and, finally, respectful. The alien fleets had retreated. The dreadnought was gone. The invaders who had laughed at humans now fled in fear. Reports would spread across the galaxy. These fragile, weak-looking creatures had survived impossible odds. They had adapted when the universe thought them finished. They had endured what no other species could. And they had fought back. Humans did not celebrate. They knew the battle had been hard-earned and temporary. Many ships had been lost. Many friends had fallen. Pain hung in every heart, but so did pride. Humans had done the impossible. They had survived. And in surviving, they had become something the galaxy could not ignore. Across the stars, whispers began. The Krillari Dominion, once arrogant and unchallenged, sent careful scouts. Other alien empires paused their expansion, reconsidering strategies that had assumed humanity was weak. Everywhere, curiosity and fear replaced arrogance. Something in humans had changed the balance of power. Something dangerous and unyielding had awoken. On the human command ship, the captain watched the stars. Broken, tired, and bloodied, she saw more than victory. She saw potential. Humanity had endured betrayal, destruction, and unimaginable loss. They had suffered deeply. They had felt fear, grief, and despair. And yet, they had moved forward. Humans had survived where the universe had expected them to fail. Pain had forged them. Fear had sharpened them. Every loss had strengthened them. Humans had no reason to surrender because humans never surrendered. That truth would echo across every system in the galaxy. And yet, even as they repaired what they could, humans sensed it. The universe was still vast, full of unknown threats, greater and darker than any they had faced. Distant signals flickered across the void, unnatural patterns in space that hinted at forces far beyond even the alien fleets they had defeated. The humans had won this battle, but the war, the true test, was only beginning. For now, the galaxy had learned a lesson. Underestimate humans at your own peril. Treat them as weak, insignificant, fragile, and you may find yourself destroyed by creatures you thought were unimportant. Across the stars, humans would be remembered, feared, respected. The fleet set course for a distant, uncharted system, a place to recover, rebuild, and prepare. The universe watched silently as humans moved forward, slow but unbroken. Every scar, every loss, every heartache had become a step towards something greater. And deep in the void, In the shadows between the stars, signals pulsed, signals of alien civilizations watching, studying, and calculating. They had seen humanity rise. They had felt the defiance, the stubbornness, the courage. And they knew, with a fear they could not hide, that humanity was only beginning. The universe had underestimated humans. It was a mistake it would never repeat. And somewhere, beyond the distant stars, something waited. Something massive. Something intelligent. Something that had noticed humanity. And now, humanity was on its radar. The journey was far from over. But one truth remained eternal. Humans never surrender.